Hi, this is Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the President, Founder, and Chief Listening Officer here at our network at USA Global TV and Radio. Thank you so much for your loyalty. Thank you so much to all of our guests, to our team members, to our sponsors, and to all of our elevated listeners. Here at USA Global TV and Radio, we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. We celebrate all of our team members, all of our guests, and all of our sponsors from around the world who come and lead their lives with their hearts to help other people walk into their greatness. If you'd like to be a guest on any of our shows, please go over to our website, usaglobaltv.com, and book your session. Please contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com and subscribe to our channel. Hey, Justin, how are you today?
All right, Dr. Jacalyn, how you feeling?
I feel pretty good. Here we are on our Take Steps and Kick IBD on USA Global TV and Radio, and It's nice to be back doing the show with you.
Same here. It seems like yesterday, and here we go again.
It's amazing how fast time goes by. So I think we should just talk a little bit about what the Take Steps event is, and also about the Crohn's Colitis Foundation and why you and I are so passionate about supporting their work.
Yeah, so we're both patients. I had ulcerative colitis for 12 years, and then, of course, I had what's called high-grade dysplasia in 2015, and the upshot of that was I lost my colon, rectum, and anus to a total proctocolectomy with permanent ileostomy. And an ileostomy is just like a colostomy, except I don't have a colon. So I have an ileum, and the ileum is brought to the stomach and then goes into the bag. So certainly wasn't a fun 12 years all the time when I had colitis. It was really having to know where bathrooms were and all the other great, wonderful things that come with inflammatory bowel disease. But, you would think, and I thought before I had the bag, that it was going to be the worst thing that could possibly happen this side of death. And it turns out that you can live a pretty productive life with the bag. And I'm really happy about that.
I am so happy for you as someone who has ulcerative colitis and has to know where all the bathrooms are. But when you talk about that procedure, first of all, it's so technical, what you just described. Can you kind of break it down for us about, you wonder how somebody even came up with this procedure? And is it just one procedure or many?
It depends. In my case, it was one procedure because sometimes, if you're lucky, and I shouldn't even say that. Let me backtrack, because what I wanted ultimately was to live the life that I lived before. I wanted to use the bathroom the way everybody else did, the way I had done it for 40 years. And that wasn't to be. I was afraid of the bag. I was petrified even of a temporary bag, let alone a permanent bag. And for some patients, they can have the colon removed and they can then have what's called a J pouch, which allows them to use the bathroom in the conventional way that everybody does. And the J pouch is made up of the small intestine. They make it's in a shape of a J. That's where it gets its name. And that's usually done in sometimes one surgery, but most of the time at least two and maybe a third. It just depends on the person and their circumstances, how much they're dependent on steroids, all kinds of things like that. In my case, there really wasn't an option for a J pouch, because in order to have the J pouch, they would have to leave behind some of the mucosa from the colon. And I had very highly precancerous cells in the lining of the colon. So it really wasn't a great option, because I could still get colon cancer, even though I wouldn't have a colon because the mucosa left over. So in my case, it really came down to either live with the chance of having colon cancer, which was probably fairly high, or, take the drastic measure of having the total proctocolectomy and have the permanent bag. That was one surgery.
And Justin, when you think back to when this took place, were you literally scared out of your mind?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there was no doubt about it. I was getting ready for work. let me backtrack a second. On a Monday night after my probably my 10th or 12th colonoscopy, whatever it was, the doctor called my house and I wasn't home, and he left a message with my wife and he said, "Have Justin give me a call." Well, this was only I had the colonoscopy on a Friday and this was a Monday. So I thought to myself, if they got the results back that quickly, there's probably something wrong here because it usually was not that fast of a turnover. And I was scared to death all night long. I thought there's something terribly wrong here. And then the next morning before work, I was getting ready for work, but I called him and I was trying my best to get in touch with him as fast as I could because I really wanted reassurance. I wanted to be told that, everything's fine. We just got it back quicker. The colonoscopy, they did the biopsies and everything came back okay. So I got in touch with his office. He wasn't there, and they said he'll call you back and in the next 5 minutes. And for 5 minutes, I had sweat pouring down my forehead. I was scared to death. And the phone rings. It's the doctor, and he says, I just have to let you know that we found high grade dysplasia in your colon. And I already knew what that meant, but he explained to me that means that you're on the verge of colon cancer. It's very highly precancerous. You're going to probably need your colon removed. And again, even though he used the word probably, I know that it was at that moment I knew I was going to have surgery. Um, and, I just collapsed. It was just impossible to comprehend and talk to my wife. And, we were crying and it was just a terrible, terrible moment. And then I talked to my mom and 45 minutes later, I had to get up and go teach a class, and probably was my worst day of training ever. But I was able to get through it, and you know, it was so difficult to believe. And I thought, wow, this is going to be the end of my life. I'm not going to be the same. I'm not going to be able to lift weights anymore. I'm not going to be able to play hockey anymore. I'm not going to be a man anymore. And I tried to do research, and there wasn't a lot to be found, but I did find out through my surgeon about Rolf Benershka, who kicked in the NFL for 7 years with an ostomy. And I thought, hey, if Rolf could kick in the NFL, I'm not even close to that level of an athlete. Then I can live my normal life. So that was a turning point. But that took about a month of you know, really severe depression and anxiety. And after I learned about Ralph, it turned into let's get this operation done, and I want to get it over with and get on the other side. And it wasn't easy. It certainly was painful, and it was a scary time, and it was you know I didn't feel well. It took about a month for me to really feel better, but once I had the operation, it was September 24th, 2015, and by Thanksgiving, I was pretty much back to doing the things I wanted to do. I had a great Thanksgiving dinner and haven't looked back since.
Justin, thank you so much for being so honest and candid about your journey, because not many people would be able to talk about it as easily as you do. So I'm so proud of you and just grateful to call you my friend.
I feel the same. I know that you struggle with it, and it's not easy for you either.
No, it's definitely not. In fact, I was diagnosed in 1991, right after I got engaged. I kind of feel like they're somehow related, but anyway, uh, this past summer, I was so sick. I had pains. Like, my disease is on the left side, but these pains were on the lower right side, and I started thinking, oh, maybe it's my appendix. I'm like searching on Google of all these things that it could be. And I was literally on my hands and knees crawling around in the house because the pain was so bad.
It's
And
awful.
I take my role with my mom very seriously, and I couldn't just leave her, especially for some length of time. And I thought, please, God, help me get through this. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I knew something had changed in all the years I've had the disease, that something was not right. And anyway, because of the insurance I had, I couldn't go see any doctors in New Jersey. So I had to wait until I got back to Florida. So in November, I had my first appointment with this doctor, and I had taken some radical measures before going to see him. So I was fasting for 18 hours a day. I gave up my wonderful Kendall Jackson Chardonnay that I love. I gave up sugar. I mean, all these things I gave up just so that I could function. And there were times I mentioned this that I was on the air and I just lost it. Nobody knew, but it wasn't pretty. Anyway,
Yeah.
the doctor said I needed the colonoscopy. I got the colonoscopy. I'm literally lying there on my left side, and the doctor's talking to me, and he said, "This isn't the worst case I've seen, but it's right at the top." He said, "You were very close to losing your colon." And I was kind of like, I was not prepared for that. And he
Sure.
said that the disease had spread through my entire colon. And I just thought, I don't know, the first thing I thought was, how could something like that happen when the disease has been confined to one area? But who knows the answer? So, anyway, we went on a somewhat radical program to get myself back under control. And that was just in November. So, it was probably December I started feeling better. And allegedly, I'm still not out of the woods because I'm on this uh, bridge plan, I guess, to get me to some drug that I'll have to take um, forever, I would imagine. But when he said those words to me, I thought of you. I thought of you immediately. Aren't you happy to know I was thinking of you
Yeah.
at that moment?
It's an
And
honor.
yeah, and I thought, listen, Justin went through this, and this is the way that it goes. But of course, I don't want it to go that way. So
Sure.
I am grateful, giving thanks to God and to the universe and to the doctor, because this doctor is unbelievable. He or his office will call me on a regular basis. And when I don't answer, because they know I'm on the air, I told them, they call back. They're like, "Listen, we need to speak to you. We need to know how you're doing." And I've never really had that before in the
It's
past.
rare.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So, but that journey, my journey and your journey, have helped us help other people to tell their story and their journey. And I really want to just thank the Crohn's Colitis Foundation, the Philadelphia, Delaware chapter specifically, because the people who work there, they're not even like employees, they're friends.
They
They're
are. Yeah.
people who they really care. And that's Dawn Halsey is the one who introduced us. So Dawn, I don't know if you're out there, but thank you. Just I'm getting upset again. Sorry, in a good way.
No, I
It's,
know.
it's in a good way.
It's it's not an easy thing. It's something that, you know, people think, oh, it's a bathroom disease, but it affects so much more than that. It affects your self-esteem. It affects. It can affect your eyes, your joints. You know, there's so much that it takes over. I mean, it's terrible to want to go to the beach but not go because you can't possibly consider not being near a bathroom. I mean, there are probably plenty of days that I'm not saying, I shouldn't say probably. There were days where I the kids wanted to go play on the beach or whatever, and I said, "Nah, I can't." And Amy would just go down with them instead. So it
Yeah,
robs you. It does. It takes so much from you. But
it's it definitely does. You know, I'll share a story from, I don't know if I told you this, but in October, I was visiting my family in Virginia, and it was so embarrassing. And my sister's so good with me because she really gets it. But you know, the middle of the night, I'm running to the bathroom, I'm running to the bathroom, running to the bathroom, waking other people up. And anyway, I told myself this one day that I was okay and I was going to go out for a walk, and I wasn't going to wear a diaper. Yeah, I just said it on television. I wasn't going to. I was just going to go out for the walk because I mentally would be willing myself that I was strong enough. And so I
right,
walked for about a mile and a half. And then I was turning the corner. I was like, oh no, 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 no. This is not good. And my sister and brother in law were not home. And there was no one who could help me. So literally right there, right there
yeah,
I go. And I was wearing these long black pants, but I can't explain to you, for people who are watching and thinking, oh, this is disgusting. This is reality. This is a
it is reality.
reality that so many people have to deal with. And anyway, I ended up, my sister she was away for the weekend. It was her birthday. She happened to be coming back early. And so I had texted my family members, and she came and got me. And there she was in the car. And here I am. And she just got a blanket and threw it around me, and just, anyway, the point is
Yeah,
that there are people struggling and suffering all over the world with these diseases. And I lead a support group, and I'm telling you, Justin, the people are getting younger and younger who are being
I
diagnosed with.
know.
it's heartbreaking. And as a support group facilitator, I'm really trying to keep myself together. But I hear their stories and I think, oh my God, there's no cure. I have had this for 30 some years. And I'm thinking, this poor child, this poor teenager, it's heartbreaking. But the Crohn's Colitis Foundation, they're amazing. I mean, they
Yeah.
give you hope.
And that's really the key word, right? Hope. Because there isn't a cure and there's no getting out of it. I mean, I remember thinking to myself, I feel like I'm on a plane that's going down and I'm strapped in this seat and there's not a damn thing I can do about it. I'm going down with the plane and that's just the end of it. So there is that feeling of hopelessness. But I'll tell you a story that might make you laugh. I'm a pretty strong guy. I'm a weightlifter and I had to go one time. I had to go to the bathroom really bad when I had colitis, and I forget where I was, somewhere in a rest stop or something. But for whatever reason, there was one stall and it was locked from the inside. And I'm trying to open the stall and I can't open the stall. And I'm getting angrier and angrier because I know I'm going to have an accident. I'm wearing diapers at the time and I only had one that was on me. So if I ruined that one, I would have to, go without. And I just got so angry. I grabbed the door and I ripped it as hard as I could. Well, the entire stall collapsed. The door ripped off and the two walls on each side caved in over top of the toilet. So then I'm even angrier because now I destroyed the bathroom. So I kind of hurtle over the rubble and I push the walls up, hold them out with both arms, go to the bathroom, clean myself up, wipe myself, and then literally had to jump and climb out over the rubble, wash my hands, and I left. But I was just,
Oh my
I mean, it was just, it shows you the desperation, though. I mean, it's funny. It is funny, but that's how desperate you get. You're like, oh my God, I gotta, I'm trapped here. I don't have the bathroom.
Oh, you know what? I'm laughing because I can understand. I can feel. I know that feels like, get out of my way.
It was
Move.
rage.
Oh gosh. Oh, and yet you are past that now, which is
Yeah.
so incredible. It was a major sacrifice that you had to go through, literally sacrificing organs in your body to be able to have a lifestyle that you have now. And I know that you are very close to setting a record with your weight training. And I'd love for you just to share about that. And then we'll talk about the event.
Sure. Yeah, I've been a weightlifter really from actually 12 years old. I started to dabble in it a little bit, but by 16, I was really, really into it. And one of the goals that I had was to bench press 405 pounds because that's 45-pound plates, four of them on each side of the bar. And I figured that was done once I had the surgery. And yes, it can be dangerous to lift heavy weights with an ostomy. There's no doubt about that. I do have a hernia, but here's the long and the short of it is that everybody with an ostomy will eventually get a hernia. It's not if, it's when. So in my way of thinking was, you know what, I'm gonna keep doing it. So I protect myself. I have a brace that I wear, a little binder to try to hold it in. But I'm really close to benching 400 pounds. Again, that would be four plates on each side. And I haven't found an ostomate yet who has done that. So I want to be the first one to bench 405. And that's a goal of mine. I'm right hovering around that 385, 390 mark. I'm really, it's that last 10 to 15 pounds that is the hardest to get. So I'll get there. It's just going to take some time.
Congratulations. Yes, you
Thank you.
will get there. And will you be a
And I'm
Guinness
48 years old, so it's a little harder now.
will you be a Guinness World Record at 401?
I don't know. I don't know. For anyone healthy person, the record is an unbelievable 760, I believe now, or 780. Yeah, I mean it's just ridiculous. But for somebody with an ostomy, I haven't seen any that have benched 400. So
What about what you've already bench pressed? Maybe that's a record.
I don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
All right, look into it. You
Yeah,
might already be
yeah.
the record holder.
I have a YouTube page, World's Strongest Ostomate. So I put videos up on that and
I didn't
just
even know
hoping to
that.
inspire people to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tell us again
World's
the name of
Strongest Ostomate.
it. Okay. Maybe you could put it into the private chat and we could share it with
Yeah.
people. Okay, beautiful. So today we're talking about the Take Steps Walk. The Take Steps Walk is one of the events that is offered by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. And it's an event where you literally come together as a family, as friends, as a community to physically walk, to take steps, and also to just realize that you're not alone. And what I love about this is our team is Dr. J's colitis crew. Of course, we have our own team members, but you see people from all walks of life, literally, who are wearing the same t-shirts, for their team. And some of them are really funny. Nandi's got the runs. I think was one of them. You see my colon rolling. I don't have the names of all of them, but it's finding levity and humor in the darkness that we've just discussed. And so this event is such a wonderful opportunity to get together. And first of all, I love to exercise. We get to exercise because we're walking. We get to be outside. Last year, as you know, the weather was not so good in the beginning. It was like winds whipping around, but the sun did come out. So I really feel like we were shined on from all levels. And you get together, you get to walk through the complex, Lincoln Financial Field. On the inside, you're walking around. You get to see the various people who have set up booths and displays, and also some really cool things. You get to walk through a colon, for example. And I know this year, some of what we're going to see is going to be different than in the past years. I'm going to be meeting with Dawn to find out exactly what we can expect this year. But for myself, I love it because my family comes together with me to support me, and that means so much. And also to have you and your family there, and you were actually walking around reporting what was going on from various parts of the stadium. So tell us more about that.
Oh, that was so much fun. There were so many people there that out on the field in the concourse, and then of course the incredible part of it was to go into the locker room and see the Eagles locker room, and the Lombardi Trophy was there. We got to take a look at that because the Eagles won the Super Bowl back in 2018, and now look at where we are. The Eagles in the Super Bowl again, so we could be on the field of the home of the world champions, Philadelphia Eagles, 2022-23. But it was fun to be able to meet a lot of people who have inflammatory bowel disease and people who just support people who have inflammatory bowel disease. It was just a fun time to be out there, and the Crohn's Colitis Foundation just do an incredible job.
Justin, they have such commitment and such heart work that they do, HEART, that it's just part of who they are. I mean, these events, as you know, I sold meetings and events for years. They're hard to put together. And just like last year with the weather, it wasn't really cooperating. And they always have a backup. There's always something, and there's a smile on all their faces, even knowing they're literally working their fingers to the bone because that's what it takes to put these events on.
And last year was special because I think it was it the first one after the pandemic? I believe it was.
There was a drive-through.
Right. But this was the walk itself. I think was the
Yes.
first one post pandemic. So people getting out and being able to walk and see each other. The drive-through, I'm sure, was great, but to be able to be on the field and look up and see what the players see, that's pretty neat. It's an opportunity that most people don't get.
I was able to do the locker room tour when I first was introduced to the foundation. I think it was 2019. And I remember Dr. Neil Nandi from UPenn, he was with another hospital at the time, but he reached out to me. I was there by myself, and he came over to me and said, "Hey, you can hang out with me and my family as we walk through and do the tour." And the tour was really amazing. I didn't get to do it this past year because I was manning the booth and signing books and keeping everything from blowing away because it was so windy. But my point is that there are doctors, nurses, there are people who are available to you because of the foundation. And for example, if you're a patient and maybe you want a second opinion, or maybe you're not very happy with your current care team because maybe you have to travel long distance, whatever the case is, the Crohn's Colitis Foundation can help you with that. They can
Right.
help you understand about different diets, what other people have shared about what works for them and what doesn't. And you can go to their website and learn so much. It's a very dynamic website. I'll be putting the website into the chat where people can go. You can
Right.
also find out about support groups. And as I mentioned, I am leading a support group, and it's not about how many people come. It's about helping one person. And that in and of itself, when you see someone, they're afraid, they don't know what to say, they start crying, they're terrified, and by the time the hour's over, they have a smile on their face, or they're like, this has helped me so much just being able to talk. Imagine 3,000 people feeling like that as the Take Steps walk. It's so empowering.
It really is. And it's something that when you're told that you have a disease that is lifelong, it's going to be chronic, it's something hopefully that won't be fatal. Most of us, it's rare that somebody dies from these disease, but it happens. I know some people who have lost their lives to Crohn's or colitis, but even to know that you have a chronic disease is just a weird feeling when you first find out, and it takes you down a little bit, and it takes a little bit of time, good amount of time, to be able to accept that. It's not easy.
It's very true what you're saying. And I've said this before, but I really feel it warrants being said again, which is that up until I met the people at the Crohn's Colitis Foundation, I really had horrible self-esteem. I hated myself because when I was dating people and they would find out, oh, that's disgusting, I don't want to talk about it, don't bring it up. And I
Right.
think that the impact that it left on me from the day I was diagnosed with it, it really started eating away at me as a person. And when I met Emily and I met Dawn and I met Lucille and Nick at the time and Paul and Michael, I could go on and on and on. I realized that there was a whole world out there. And it wasn't just me on my own trying to beat this big bad disease, that I could actually enjoy my life. I could actually talk about what I was going through and not have people look at me and say, oh, you're dirty or that's disgusting. And that's really life changing.
It is. And it's tough when you're buying adult diapers. For me, I was 40 when I found out that I needed. Well, when I got diagnosed, the first time was 28. Just turned 28. So to buy diapers at 28 years old and pretend that they're for your grandmother,
Mm.
and those things, right? Or being in, I remember I was in CVS one time and I had an accident and I wasn't wearing a diaper and I was wearing shorts. And you could
Oh,
imagine, the people behind me, I'm sure, were horrified. As I get it. I mean, I understand it, but it's so frustrating, and it does take you down a dark road.
yeah, it's true. And I'll just share this. When I was in my corporate career, I traveled a lot to various properties because we would show the clients the properties and see if this is where they wanted to host their event. And anyway, there was this very well-dressed couple, probably at the time in their 50s, maybe their 60s. And I was with my team. We were doing a site inspection, and this man came and they were sort of running to get to the elevator. And as he was walking, you could see there was a whole trail. And the people on my team, they literally started laughing. They started laughing, and I pulled them aside, and I was so stern. And I said, listen, I know you don't understand because you're not going through it. You can't even imagine what this guy feels like, or what
Right.
the woman is. You can't even imagine. You have no idea. Like, you need some awareness, and I forgive you, but have the awareness now.
Right.
And these types of things are going on all over. So that's the awareness that I want people to have, that the Crohn's Colitis Foundation is an incredible resource to help people. And yes, do we also need donations? Of course we need donations. Why?
Yeah.
Because we want to continue the research. When I was diagnosed in 91, there were not a lot of options. Today, patients have more options than they've ever had before. And we need to keep funding this research through our generosity of giving our time, but we also need the money as well. And the one thing I love about many things I love about the Crohn's Colitis Foundation is that they actually keep track, not them themselves, but there's some entity that keeps track of how much of money of every dollar, how many cents of every dollar goes to research and development. And there's plenty of charities out there that are also ranked, but there's some that are not. And by the way, we have a comment.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Robert Zelgenson. I hope I said your name right. Hi. I'll be there again as a volunteer. That's awesome.
Great,
I
Robert.
was the
Thank you.
one that loaded the Dietz and Watson truck with Paul and the other ladies. I can 35 years with this disease. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Robert.
Robert, and hope you're doing
Amazing.
well. I know it's hard. 35 years, it's a long time to have this disease. It's not easy.
It really is. We also have a comment from a Facebook user. I don't know, Dawn, is this you? I don't know who it is. Over 80 cents. I was going to say,
I believe it's 82 cents
82
if I
cents is what I
remember
was.
right.
Yep. I think we,
Yeah.
and
Do
then
you
we
know
also,
there's some charities where it's 10 cents?
I know it's, Facebook user, yay, we love Robert. Yes, it is Dawn. Dawn Halsey's in the
All
house.
right,
Hi,
Dawn.
Dawn. It's fantastic. So, Dawn, also while you're there, if there's anything about the events that you want me to share with people, I certainly will. So, we have the event on June 25th. I believe it starts, you can show up, is it 10 o'clock, Dawn? And then I think the event starts at 11, but Dawn will she'll keep me honest there. Robert says, hi, Dawn.
You know what, Dr. Jacalyn, another thing that people might say to me or to you, well, of course you want to raise money for Crohn's and colitis because it's affected you, right? So it's self-serving. But it really isn't, because in my case, I don't really have to worry about Crohn's and colitis as much because I'm an ostomy. So I still have a vested interest in seeing it gone. But the other part of it is the research that's done to cure Crohn's and colitis may go a long way in curing things like lupus, MS, Graves' disease, all different types of immune deficiency diseases, autoimmune disease, I should say. So, giving money to Crohn's and colitis might help people in all different types of diseases.
So true. Absolutely, Justin. Thank you for
The
sharing that.
biologics and all those things.
Yeah. So I want to share a couple of things. First of all, I want to share the website for people to donate. And we also have a comment from, I think it's Dawn, because it just says Facebook user, new logo and new exciting things happening this year at Philly Takes Steps. And we will
Awesome.
be updating people as we come back for our next show. So I'd like
Now
to
we really got to root for the Eagles, right? Because we got to be the home of the NFL World Champions, right?
Yes, definitely.
How awesome would that be during the walk?
People would absolutely love it. I love it. I want to share this. So this is actually the site where you can join our team, Dr. J's Colitis Crew. And you'll see that our goal is 7,000. We always want to go higher than that. But you see how much has been raised is zero. And the reason why it's zero is because I haven't actively started working on it, but I'm going to. And I need your support. Our team needs your support. We would love to have you donate. And, Justin, one of the things that people say all the time is, I don't have enough money. And I say any amount of money, anything that you can give, if it's $5, $10, it all starts to add up. But people feel embarrassed because they don't want you to know that they gave $5 or $10. Even though you're saying to them, we welcome the $5 or $10. Can you please donate?
And we don't know what they've donated to other places too, right? So they may donate to 6 different charities. Maybe they gave, $5 to all of those charities. So there's no shame in $5 or whatever it is. Every dollar helps for sure.
Absolutely.
There's no judgment.
No, listen, when someone donates, I always remember that they took the time and they cared. And that's caring is sharing, sharing is caring. It's all in one. So we'd also offer out there, if you'd like to join our team, Dr. J's Colitis Crew, and of course we have a lot of friends who have their own teams, which we love. We'd love for you to join our team, because one of the cool things that we'll be doing is we'll be reporting live from the stadium. And
Yeah.
you and my sister actually were reporting live along with Kathy. What was that like?
Ah, it was so fun. Just getting to meet all the people who were there, the people running it, the people who were patients, caregivers, and then of course we were on the field looking up, from that field and imagining what it must be like when there's 65,000 people or whatever it is in the stadium. I guess now it's smaller today, 40 some thousand, but even still, that's a lot of people to be cheering you on, and we got to kind of live that life for a few hours. It was pretty cool, and then we got to go into the locker room and see what it was like in there and take pictures, and the press room was really cool. A lot of fun.
I agree with you. And one of the things that I think is, for me, that was really special, because I was at the booth for almost the whole time, was I got to go down to the field, and I thought, wow, what must it be like to be a player, to be like in the field so huge, right? And you imagine like
Gigantic.
what that must be like to hear the cheering. And the Philadelphia crowds are the Philadelphia fans are crazy. Just the amount of noise and your
Right.
heart racing, it's incredible.
The
We
adrenaline has to be amazing.
Yeah, even without any players there, we could feel it. So we've got some
Yeah.
comments from my nephew Blake Wilson in the house.
All right,
Hello.
Blake.
Blake, I hope you're going to be with us for the event. We would love to have you. And we have another comment. Again, I'm hoping it's Dawn. Woohoo! Love having Dr. J and Justin live at the event. Yeah, it
We love
was
being there.
rain or shine. We were there. Justin,
Yeah.
you were out there. It didn't matter what the weather was. So
It got better, like you said, as we progressed. The sun decided to come out, so that was really neat.
yeah, it was definitely neat.
Do you remember the bronze eagle? The guy who was in bronze, he was a statue.
I don't
He
think
was
I got to
posing.
see that.
You didn't see him?
I don't tell
Yeah,
us
he was.
about
Yeah, he was all in gold. He had gold makeup all over his body, and he would stand there in a pose as if he were a statue, and kids would come up to him, and then all of a sudden he would move, and everybody was getting a real kick out of it. Really, really cool.
that.
He
Is
was
really
wearing,
cool.
yeah, he
That
was wearing
is.
the Eagles jersey, I think, and yeah, it was neat.
That's something else that really happens at this event, is that people don't have an ego. People just have a heart,
Right.
and they're there to help. We just heard um, from Robert about how he volunteered, and he's coming back again to volunteer. It just gets into your blood. So I'd really like to leave our audience with this. If you don't get out there and try, you're never going to know. If
Right.
you are in the Philadelphia area, if you're in the tri-state area, if you want to come in for this event, we're going to be there, and we'd love to meet you. We'd love to walk around the field with you. We'd love to hear your story, but it takes an effort. We're putting it out there, and we're extending the offer. We'd love to have you join our team as well. We've got another comment from Robert. Yes, some superheroes also dressed up. A lot was going on by the front entrance. The
Yeah.
tour was incredible.
Yeah. Robert's right. I remember that now that he mentioned it. I think we had Spider-Man maybe and Superman.
Yeah, I
It's
think
pretty
you're right.
cool. Yeah.
He also writes, I got to go under the speaker with ACDC miscellaneous, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool. So plenty of opportunities to get involved,
Yep.
and please do reach out if you are a patient and you want to connect with the Crohn's Colitis Foundation. Please do it. They would love to hear from you. We will have the information here. And Dawn, if you want to drop any links of how to get in touch with you personally or with the foundation there in Philadelphia, that would be great. And again, we'd love to have you join our team. We'd love to have you just take some time out and give thanks and meet some wonderful people. And also just realize that you're not alone.
Right.
Wherever you are, whatever you're going through, you're not alone.
And I don't mean this to scare anyone, but there could be somebody out there right now who doesn't have Crohn's or colitis, and that might not be the case a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 3 years from now. I was diagnosed in 2002, in 2001, I had no inkling really that there was anything seriously wrong. It just started to creep its way in the fall of 2002. So, we're lucky to be healthy, but we never know what's right around the corner. So you may be doing yourself a favor in the future as well.
That's a great point. And we wish everyone the best of health. And
Sure.
if you end up getting diagnosed at some point, again, please do reach out. Dawn just provided her email address, which is the first initial of her first name, D, last name Halsey, HALSEY, at Crohn's Colitis Foundation.org. And I'll tell you, she'll be your new best friend because that's just how she
Yeah.
is. And thank you for introducing the two of us.
Yes, absolutely. I hope that in a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 3 years from now, we don't have to do the show anymore. As much as I enjoy doing this show with you, it'd be nice to have another topic because we said, hey, you know what? It's cured and it's over. That's the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, again, we ask if you can please just find it in your heart to make a donation and just to help us help others, because it's not about me anymore. It's not about Justin anymore. It's, again, I see people, children, parents. I had someone a couple months ago in the support group. She was literally beside herself. Her young child was diagnosed. And what do you do when you think about it? Until there is a cure, that this young person, you know how it is when you're a child, people making fun of you, and now you have this situation. We need to keep working to raise money for this research so that there are more options and a cure to help rid the world of these diseases. And again, we are not a disease. You had a disease, but we are thriving in our lives, thank God. And it's been a
Thank God
long
is right.
haul. It's been a long journey, but we
Mm-mm.
didn't get there by ourselves. Again, my
No,
hat is
mm-mm.
off to everybody at the Crohn's Colitis Foundation.
Without a doubt.
Thank you again. And also from, I'm assuming, Dawn, blessed to call you a friend. We love you, Dawn. We really do. All right, everyone. Thank you again for being here. We have the link if you would like to join our team or you would like to make a donation. We really welcome you and we really thank you in advance. Justin, we'll be back with our next show, which is when?
The first Monday of March. So we're doing the shows the first Monday of every month.
All right, thank you. That's what I thought, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to check.
Yeah.
So, Robert, I look forward to meeting you. That would be exciting. And, Robert, we'd love to
Yeah,
have you on
Robert.
why don't you come on the show, Robert? We'd love to have you. He just wrote a comment. The worst is when you have no colon, you die a horrible death. My best friend's relative just died that way. You don't want that. We need help with meds, pain meds, and meds to live each day. Justin?
Well, I will say I don't have a colon. I actually don't. But I was lucky enough to have the surgery and to have the ileostomy. But yeah, I don't think anybody would choose this, but now that it's happened, you can live a good life if you have the medication or if you have the surgery. There are options out there.
And I also would like to stress, because I was really not not doing what I should have done. You need to get a colonoscopy. I don't know what the age
Oh
is
yeah.
now that they require it, but you don't know what you
45,
don't
I
know.
believe now. They dropped it from 50 to 45 in healthy people. If you have a history of Crohn's or colitis, then of course it's a lot younger than that.
You know what it is, Justin, with the colonoscopy? It's that stuff you have to take. Why does it always have to be disgusting? Isn't there some way to make it so you're not like gagging while you're taking it? I don't know.
My
Somebody
last colonoscopy, I gagged, but it saved my life. So was it worth the couple of hours, few hours of discomfort and feeling sick and being chained to the toilet? Yeah, it was worth it because if I wasn't, I probably wouldn't be on the show right now.
Yeah, exactly right. That's something else I just wanted to share. When I went for the colonoscopy in November, the waiting room was packed because this is all they do, right? Is the colonoscopy. And I
Right.
heard someone say, I haven't had one before. How long do you think it'll take? And the other woman said, if you don't have anything wrong with you, it's about 8 minutes.
Wow.
So I didn't know that. Of course, I found out mine was about 25 minutes. But Anyway, we're still here to laugh about it.
That's right.
We've got a comment from Robert. He will come if we want him to. Yes, we want to have you on
Sure.
the show. Dawn, we want to have you on the show. So, Robert, thanks for sharing your information. I don't know if you're going to put it on the screen or not, but we'll definitely be in touch with you to have you come on our next show.
Sounds good.
All right, Justin, what would you like to leave our viewers and listeners with today?
Well, the only thing that I could say is that you please join us for the Take Steps event. Dr. Jacalyn, is it the J Crew, Dr. Jacalyn? Is that right?
Dr. J's Colitis Crew.
Dr. J's Colitis Crew. I got to remember that. But that, if you look for Dr. J's Colitis Crew, join us. No amount is too small. There's no judgment. $5 is just as good as $500. It just means that you cared enough to make a donation, and we need it. So come out and then join us for the walk. Actually, don't just donate. Come out and join us. Be a part of the family.
And I'd also like to encourage any business owners who are out there who would like to be sponsors. We will feature you on your own show here on USA Global TV and radio, and we will help you promote your business. So if you would like to be a sponsor, you've got options. You could be a sponsor, you could be a team member, or you could be someone who's making a donation, and you can make it anonymously. They give you that option. So There's choices. Just please get involved. We really would appreciate it. And from our dear friend Dawn, thank you both. Thank you, Dawn. We love you.
Pleasure, Dawn. Love you, Dawn.
Thank you, Robert. And we look forward to seeing you again next month. Justin, I'm just going to give a few announcements. So I will say adios to you right now. And
all right. Have a great rest of the day.
All right. Thanks. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, we have about, I think this week, maybe 30 shows a week. So our shows are live, and then you can watch them on the replay, many different places. But I would suggest please go over to our YouTube channel, which is USA Global TV and Radio. If you'd like to be a guest on any of our shows, please go to our website, which is usaglobaltvandradio.com. You can also get us at usaglobaltv.com. So some quick announcements before we sign off. We have a number of new shows that I want to just share in case you're interested in being a guest. One of them is Women in Business. This is a show that I am hosting, and we want to hear from you. If you're in corporate or you have your own business, people are looking for inspiration. They're looking for education. They want to hear from you. How did you do what you're doing? We also have Children Live What They Learn, the power of etiquette and manners for children. I will be co-hosting this with Mr. Philip Sykes from the British School of Excellence. He is in London, and we have another show together called The Power of Etiquette and Manners, which is here. We've been doing that show for well over a year. We also have our show Hot Topic. This can be about anything that is going on in your world and you want to share with our audience. We have the Earth Show. This is led by Mr. Roland Friedel, and he also is partners with Marcin. And of course, I can't say his last name. So Marcin, I love you. He's over in Poland. Roland is in his motorhome traveling through Europe. And of course, as you know, we have, or you might not know, Aging Gracefully with Humor. This is where we actually celebrate getting older instead of being scared and afraid and saying, oh, this is the worst thing that can happen. No, there's definitely something worse, and we know what it is. So if you'd like to be a guest on that, please do reach out. Tomorrow, we'll be featuring a brand new show, Your Story, Your Grief, Your Journey. This one is being hosted by myself and Doug Lawrence. Doug is joining us from Canada. He recently lost his wife during the pandemic, and he is an international mentor who's been helping people in so many ways. So tomorrow we're going to hear about his story, his grief, and his journey. And on future shows, we'll be welcoming other people. We also have Once Upon a Time, the Good Book Guide for Kids. This is a program for people who are involved with helping children anywhere in the world, whether you are a minister, whether you're a pastor, whether you're a teacher, whether you provide a service or a product that's for children. We would love to hear from you. You can book in on that show. On Wednesday, we have a very special show. which is in collaboration with the British School of Excellence and USA Global TV and Radio. It's called Lessons in Love. Deepen your connections and build better relationships. Again, this is with Philip Sykes and special guest Felicia Kay. So that's one that you definitely want to see. We also have a relatively new show. I think this is their 4th week. It's I'm Spiritual But. And this is led by Ann Scotland and Dr. Roger Leslie. And they interview people who have had a spiritual awakening, or they're on a spiritual journey, or maybe they just have had a calling and they want to share what they've learned with other people. This is also a new show. This is an old show title, but Talking Peace Around the World. We have global broadcasters. We're actually adding to this list people from around the world who've been broadcasting for decades, who are very interested in how we can bring peace, how we as humanity can find a way to bring peace to the world instead of waiting for governments to figure out what to do. How can we do what we need to do to find peace? Of course, some of the shows we've had for a while, The Wise Ones, which I lead with Red O'Laughlin. We also have the Film and Music Show, which I co-host with Dr. Madeline Chan. We have The Corner Bookstore, which I co-host with Diane Floyd Babe, 3 weeks of the month, and the first week of the month with CJ Peterson. Food and Our Emotions, which is a special 12-part series that we're doing, Red O'Laughlin and myself, where we're looking at how does food impact our lives. And of course, as you know, we've been talking about IBD, and food has a big role in IBD as it does with other diseases. And sometimes the way that we eat and what we're eating can contribute to disease. And we explore that. We also explore cooking and baking and some fun topics as well. The United Kingdom news and culture. This, again, is with our international global correspondents, Helena Shard and Ian Pelham-Turner. They are the British royal commentators for the British royal family. They are also royal photographers. And, of course, Diane Floyd-Baim is my co-host. And Simon McDonald is in Scotland. He is a TV presenter. He's a celebrity chef. He's cooked for 3 or 4 U.S. presidents. And he's also a consultant when it comes to building smokehouses and smoking fish. And we have the art of creating mental health wealth with Janetta Barry. Janetta is in Africa, and she shares the story of how she lost her daughter to suicide after they had an argument. And she's been on a mission to help other people so that they don't feel lost and alone. And she really gives great guidance and direction for people to find meaning in their life. We have from Dubai, Katrina Valente, Secrets to Timeless Beauty. And of course, we have our Talking Head series. This is a series where experts come and present for 30 minutes. So it's not a talk show. It's people presenting their expertise so that they can provide education, inspiration, and hope to other people. And that concludes the new shows, and then some of the shows that we've had for a while, but there's too many to go into right now. I will leave you with this. We have 2 things that I'm really excited about. In addition to being the owner of this television and radio platform, I'm also a certified life, career, and executive coach. And I also am an author, an Amazon #1 bestselling author twice, and Amazon #1 new release twice. So I have a collaboration with 2 different people on 2 different projects. The one project I want to share with you is Creative Hearts Awakening. This is a book series, the first of 3. This first book is the film and music book collaboration. Dr. Madeline Chan over in London and I are working together to help people who are artists or creatives and their heart has awakened through their music or film journey. And we actually will write their story in their chapter. It's a collaborative book project. So if you're interested in being in this book, please do reach out to books, and I'll put it into the chat, books, BOOKS, at drjacalyn.com. And tomorrow I am hosting a course. This is for anyone and everyone who is a podcaster, a broadcaster, a journalist, or someone who is presenting. If you're presenting on Zoom and actually just showing up on Zoom, you're presenting yourself. If you are presenting at your organization, learn how to stand out and present at an elevated level. So it's not just for interviewers. We are going to hear from, I believe it's 6 people who have decades of experience as global presenters. Some you just saw here today: Ian Pelham Turner, Helena Shard, Daisy Gideon. Daisy is in, she goes back and forth between Lebanon and Australia. Al Cini, Philip Sykes, and Simon McDonald. We are going to hear from each of them about their recommendations of what you need to do to stand out and be as professional as possible. You can join me live tomorrow for this course. It's on Eventbrite. Just look up The Art of Being a Professional Interviewer, or you can buy a ticket to watch it at your leisure. It is a 2-hour course. And again, we will have testimonials from people who have decades and decades of experience. And finally, this really is finally this time, I do want to share with you about this other project that I am working on. It is the Lady Ella book series, The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella. And this is a book series that is dedicated to my great niece. Her name is Ella, and the ladybug is actually me. I am the ladybug, which is the listening mentor. And we have 7 books in this series. This is also an outdated show title, but you can see the 2 books that are out today. The one on the left and the one on the right are both available in ebook and paperback, and they both are Amazon #1 new releases. The one on the left and the one on the right contain animal characters. Each of the animal characters represents a real person, someone who is certified to listen at an elevated level. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. So these books are for children and their families to learn how to listen. The one on the left actually is the first book in the series, where Lady Ella flies to Gentle Farm and she sees that there are animals on one side of the fence, animals on the other side of the fence, and then an owl up in the trees. And they're just having a hard time getting along and communicating. So as the listening mentor, Lady Ella flies in to help them learn how to listen at an elevated level. She finishes her mission there, and she flies over to the School of Joy, where she encounters some other animals. And these animals are going to be in a talent show. And there's some strife in the talent show, the preparation. And she works with Miss Crystal, the butterfly, to help the animals work together so that they can get this talent show up and running. And in this book, there is a poem called Listening Lazies. And we were able to take Listening Lazies and make it into a song that is available for download on all the major platforms. So Apple, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon, etc. And I'm going to play the video as we close out the show. The third book is coming out March the 26th, which is my 60th birthday. I can't believe it. So please do look for that. And that book cover looks like this. So I, as a listening mentor, I leave the School of Joy and I fly to London to have afternoon tea with some other animals. And these animals are not really taking care of each other. They're not really thinking about one another. They're really thinking about themselves. So she has her work cut out for her in this third book. You can pre-order this one right now as we're speaking. I'm going to close out the show today with the song that I told you about, Listening Lazies. I hope that you will enjoy it. It has a really upbeat, it gets kind of in your system. I know my mom was dancing to it and baby Ella was dancing to it. So I think it resonates with people of all different backgrounds and ages. The artist on this is La La Music, and the writers are myself, Dr. Madeline Chan in London, and also Mariska Dupria, and she's in New Zealand. Listening Lazies. Thank you, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow.
When we speak, we don't hear. It's abundant abundantly clear. Listening laces creeping, and nobody's gonna win. Look someone in the eye. If you don't, they surely will cry. You don't hear a word I say, 'cause you always look straight away. Listening laces drive people crazy. Listening laces making us blue. Listening laces, communication goes hazy. Listening laces, listening laces. Da 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 da. Listening laces drive people crazy. Listening laces making us blue. Listening laces, communication goes hazy. Listening laces, listening laces. When you interrupt your friend, you will surely have to make amends. Lady Ella knows the way to help you listen better every day. And what's that? It's listening lazy. Ba-da-ba-ba. Listening laces drive people crazy. Listening laces making us blue. Listening laces, communication goes hazy. Listening laces, listening laces. Listening laces drive people crazy. Listening laces making us blue. Listening laces, communication goes hazy. Listening laces, listening laces, listening laces.